into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I know, it's like, what's going to happen when we're not doing that anymore? Welcome, After Buzzers, to another edition of the Whispers After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. We are talking Season 1, Episode 11. It's called Homesick. Homesick. It is called Homesick. If you're not already subscribing, please hit that subscribe button right below me. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or SoundCloud, please rate and review and chat with us and love us. because we need to be loved like all the kids on this show.
Oh, they need love so bad.
Like all these
Some of
kids
them need
lots of love.
to not be loved. Some of them need to...
Touche.
So lots of action. We are now 2 episodes away. Wait, so next week?
One more episode
One
away from the
more
finale.
after tonight before the finale episode. Oy vey. What did you all think? What initial thoughts of Homesick?
I thought it was so good. It was actually one of my favorite episodes because we got
Action?
concrete information and like good stuff that was happening. It feels like the story is progressing at a normal rate. I feel like it was either going way too fast or sometimes way too slow. So I enjoyed it. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm April Whisenhant.
Oh yeah, I was like, say your name.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'm April Whisenhant. Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
And I'm Francesca. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, XOXOCESCA.
I feel like I need to imitate your voice now. I'm Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean, and saying what's up to Glorified Gleek and Sylvia Love. Hello in chat.
Hi there.
Francesca, what did you think of this episode?
I agree. This was probably one of the better episodes that I have seen thus far.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit more exciting.
Got it.
Definitely.
Now,
All the children.
all the children. I actually left a comment in the YouTube comments. I was wondering because there was some commentary regarding Lena and her dying.
Right.
And I was wondering what they were going to do with that storyline. I was very curious to see if that was going to be a manipulation play on Drill's part to get Minx back under his wing and bring Lena back in some capacity. What were you thinking? And I mean, did you think that was a possibility, or were you like, no, Lena's gone?
No, well, I feel like we kind of
We did kind of touched on that.
I'm like, maybe, she'll just be, like
In a coma?
out of it,
okay.
coma, or
Yeah.
not out of it, a coma, like maybe brain dead, and he'll say that he'll bring her back. But then there was also a part of me, or now that I've seen tonight's episode, I think that he did it because he wants Wes to think that Minx still has some innocence when maybe she doesn't necessarily.
Oofda.
Listen, Minx is no bueno, and I think people were giving us slack for asking why she was standing like that at the end of the episode. They're like, oh, she's in shock.
No,
she's
possessed.
Drill, and she's trying to play it up.
Well, I think she was like, because even when, I forget his name, every week, Thomas's little brother, Elliot, even whenever he was, or they were in, like, around the tree the night that he died, he still, like, had parts of himself. So, I mean, Minx obviously does. So, of course, it's her mom. I'm sure she definitely would feel sad about it, but that Drill part always is going to, like, take over.
It's going to prevail.
Yeah. What did you think?
Hello to Slacker Elite. Thank you for joining us. You mean about Minx being taken over in that final scene last week? Yeah, I wasn't... I mean, I think what I said was she didn't look like it was pain that she was feeling or shock.
That's important. She didn't look shocked.
Here's the thing. I mean, obviously, when traumatic things happen to children, to adults, to anybody, you can never anticipate what someone's reaction is going to be.
Right.
You just can't. That's just, it's not possible. However, I think just historically, from what we've seen from her character, it just, something felt not right about what was going on there. Her staring into the distance, her staring into space. It was as though she was like, I don't know, was she channeling Orion, whatever?
Right.
I mean, like, who knows? But I thought that scene was strange. Yeah. Anyway, Lena is gone. The funeral occurred. I also thought it was a little weird when Claire and Sean and Henry showed up.
And he was being a bee?
Yeah, he kind of was. Like, he was like, it's not appropriate for you to be here. And I was like...
Well, because he knew Lena didn't like her, obviously. So it's one of those things of like, it's almost like he's in shock, or obviously he's in shock. So even though they're, meaning well by being there, he knew that Lena was never okay with Claire being in the picture. So therefore, why would she be at her funeral? I kind of get that. I'm thinking like, I wouldn't want the person that my husband cheated on with me at my funeral either. I would typically be like, oh, everybody, come on. But I can.
But it was also extraneous circumstances in a way, like in the sense of Sean was there. Sean knew what was going on, and he was like, I'm here to pay my respects. And I think that by the end of all this, because they've gone through this very extraterrestrial situation altogether. And I mean, look, Lena's shooting people and she's talking to electricity and, Claire is helping in the ways that she can. It's almost like, and she's apologized profusely. I mean, anyway, I didn't think it was so far-fetched. I thought it was interesting, though, at how much he was like, no.
Well, he was totally zoned out when everyone was giving them their condolences, but he definitely heard the doorbell ring and, of course, was there with Claire. So I just thought it was strange that he tried to shoo them away so rudely. I mean, they're there for his condolences. It wasn't like it was at the actual like funeral per se, but then they kind of were giving each other the eye. April actually and we rewound it because we were like, wait, was that a moment? Was that a moment, or was just like lingering eye looks?
Yeah. Well, I also think though that that Wes, we also have to remember that the kind of interaction that he's had with Claire all season, and it hasn't been great, which I'm sure weighs on him. And also Drill, it kind of started, or it didn't start with him, it started with Harper, I guess, as far as we saw. But Claire is kind of the person who introduced Wes to the knowledge of Drill. Yeah. And he chose Lena. He chose Wes's family to actually like kill and not Claire. So I'm sure there's some
so he's resentful on that level.
Maybe. I don't know.
I could see that.
I feel it a little bit.
So in chat, I think Glorified Gleek said that she thinks Minx got taken over right at the moment that she was looking up at the sky. I think, although Glorified Gleek, you should clarify this because I don't know if I'm interpreting this incorrectly. But like basically right before quarantine happened. Now, I was just thinking, like what popped into my brain was that it was not at that moment because... Well, okay, what moment do you think? If we think that, if we're going on the assumption that Minx has been... Drill. Yeah.
I don't know. That hadn't popped into my mind, actually. That sounds like a good moment for him to have, like, completely taken her over. But then it also, because most of the time he does stuff to people in order to help them or harm them. And before that, we had seen Minx not really talking to Drill, or saying that she wasn't talking to Drill, and then her mom died. So like what, like she doesn't have to let Drill into her, he can just do it. I don't know, actually.
I just remember, and we talked about it, how it was weird that they focused on her like up at the top of the stairs or whatever, looking down at her mom, and I said that was weird, and you guys were like, oh, she's kind of happy, like she has because her mom was on the phone with Wes.
Oh,
like
her dad, right?
Like, I love you.
Oh,
come
but you
home.
think it was?
I from that moment, it was just weird that they focused on that. So from that moment, I was
crying,
like,
wasn't she?
No, she shed tears at the end when she was like, frozen. But that moment was like, why did they focus on that? It was weird because it was like she was looking down at them, peering at them. Like, she might have been smiling. I can't remember, but I feel like it felt like that might have been
the moment.
That's good, though, because I bet she was just kind of, I mean, after the fact, that's why she's crying, of course. Like, her mom just died and she had something to do with it. But beforehand,
so
all business.
Renji 90998 says, I don't think Minx is the possessed one, but being framed. Anyway, let's get to that.
But she electrified.
Or is it one of those things where... So, by the way, I think one of the other tells for us this episode was the fact that... So, Henry, all of last episode, had headaches, right? And the minute tonight where Minx said, my head hurts too, I'm going...
Oh, how does she know? Oh, never mind. I thought you were
Well,
being
in the
literal.
sense that, was she being honest about her head hurting? Did it really hurt? Or if she was already taken over by Drill, then why would her head hurt?
Or it could have been the exact moment he completely took over her because she fainted. None of the other kids
That's
fainted.
true. You're right. She did faint. I totally forgot about that. She totally did.
But I think Minx is just like the devil from the get-go. So
You know, I think Minx is being framed.
It's possible. I mean, they were doing a lot of things tonight to insinuate that
it could have been a lot of people.
I think the kids pointing of the hands at the very end of the episode is the biggest piece of evidence that she's being framed. Because it was very,
why would they do that though?
Because it was so, it's like maybe Drill is also like, if you all do this for me, if you say this, it's this person, I'll let you go, or I'll help you with this. Like, I'll save your cat. When she was asking what they fear, I'll save your cat, I'll help your mom, you know, whatever. Because it was also like robotic, like.
It was weird though how she was going after, when she walked into that yard and she was going after Silas.
Right.
And very matter-of-factly, as though she knew that he had done something. And who gave her that? I mean, how did she know? Was that Drill talking to her saying, you're going to go and, like, beat this kid up?
And she didn't, I mean, her picture, like, Silas clearly looked at her picture on the table when Claire had pictures of the kids out, and that's when he was like, but Drill could have been telling him to do that. And one thing Francesca and I noticed was the bed that was empty whenever the person or the kid or whatever got up in the middle of the night to, you know, knock off Dr. Benavides. It was a bed on the edge. It was it had like the purple comforter on it. And when they were going all through them, Minx's bed did.
In the middle. Her bed was in the middle.
Hers wasn't on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, that could be minor details or it could be sneaky.
Yeah.
But
Sylvia Love said Drill is making them point at Minx. So we've got some people in chat that think that she's being...
She I mean, she very well could be, but... I mean, I think it is very difficult to 100% say so because when Claire was in the room questioning all these kids, they did a lot of like focusing on eyes and blah blah blah.
Yes.
So you're like, wait, did I miss something?
Uh-huh.
Were they like, was their eye like when she said close your eyes and open it, like the pupil didn't dilate? So maybe, like I was saying, my prediction last season, they're all like being possessed by him.
Well, they kind of all are. So something that we learned is Dr. Benavides, she's doing like MRIs on all the kids and finds that every kid that came in with a headache, they all have some kind of growth in their brain. What is it?
It's just like a marker.
In their cerebellar...
cerebellum.
A malady in every kid's brain. Yeah, but it's some kind of like mass, it looked like, in every one of the kids' brains. And Wes, basically when he went to chat with the president and the Secretary of Defense, was like, we think that this is how Drill maintains his connection with the kids, is like the minute he first makes contact, it's like he imprints on them on some way.
Right.
And then that's like their tracking device
it's
inside
like a
of
tell
them.
to maybe like whoever is at Orion.
I just want to say that my favorite constellation is Orion. So now I'm wondering if maybe Drill and I are close and I don't even know it.
So I thought that was interesting though. So when Claire got to the hospital with Henry at the request of Wes to like hurry on over, and then Drill kind of guides her to Harper.
Yeah.
Almost. It was as though he guided her, which I was happy to see Harper. Little Harper.
Cute.
Love that girl.
But little Harp.
Little Harp. I know she was being a little, she was being saucy. She was. She was being a little minxy tonight. But I thought it was interesting because basically she says he's looking for Orion, or he needs Orion. But then later on in the episode, when Sean and Claire had all those other parents at their house, one of the parents said, could he be looking for Oliver Ryan?
I know.
I was like, Oliver Ryan? Maybe he's looking for, maybe Harper just didn't know how to say, maybe she misinterpreted the communication from Drill, and it's really a child that he was...
I mean, a child's name could be Orion, but I did think that part was weird for her to, like, say that. Like, was that significant, or was that just fluff?
But also, like, she's the only one who knew that. She's the only one who knew that.
About Orion?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Harper is Drill.
Well, she had some moments in the little, questioning where she's
the only one who wouldn't answer.
She was like, I don't want to be here. This and this and this.
That's true. I refuse to believe that. I was like, as Claire was questioning Harper, I was like, I refuse this. Nope. No. I was talking back at the screen the whole time. I was like, no. All right, let's talk about Dr. Benavidez, because she got ousted tonight. Yeah. And I didn't see that coming, because she seems to have become kind of a central part. Well, and now we also had another reveal tonight that she's been working with that dude.
That's such like a womp womp moment for me. I'm like, oh, he's a reporter? Big whoop.
I know. I felt that way too. Okay, first, her dying. Did you see that coming?
No.
The second I saw a little girl or a child stepping out of the thing, I was like, oh, she's gone.
I couldn't tell it was a kid. Okay. When the shadow went by, I couldn't tell it was a kid.
Why didn't just whenever they like pan or the camera went to the empty bed?
And I have a question about that, because someone was like shining the flashlight, checking to make sure they're all there, and they clearly shined their flashlight on the empty bed.
And then just moved past it.
And we just like don't ever get that again.
But Drill could have just like possessed the person from... I mean, clearly like this kid could also somehow get to her office. So, I mean, some stuff is going on.
Yeah, but the second she said, wait, oh my God, like
there's something,
I figured... I was like, oh, she's gone. There's no way they're going to give it to us.
Right.
I feel like we're going to find out.
I mean, I hope so.
We better find out, because that's not okay. And then she had
back up her computer. Gosh.
I know, right? Or did it explode like the kid?
It got
like
fried,
right. Exactly. Well, okay. I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we also got the reveal. The reporter Daniel Getz was following Sean conveniently, and we didn't know if he was working with Drill. We didn't know if he was working with...
Yeah, because he said in the car, he was like, and I'll make
contact.
Yeah.
I'll make contact.
I was like, I'm so confused, because it's the kids so far, you know?
I just thought he was like another Thomas, kind of. Like, I thought
Drill you brought that up last week.
Yeah, I thought Drill was working through him, but no, he's just a reporter.
Hired that Dr. Benavidez called. By the way, some Glorified Gleek said, I was surprised that Dr. Benavidez died. I thought they'd set her up as Wes's new love interest.
Oh. No,
everyone needs some
Claire
space.
Forever.
Interesting. I know. Interesting. Yeah. So this guy is a reporter, and she wanted an extra layer of protection in the sense of just everything that happened between her getting napped by Sean when he was having his episode.
But also, I love how she told the reporter, if anything ever happens to me, find Sean Benny.
Because I trust him.
Right.
Which I was like,
he always told her the truth with everything
That's
after.
True. That's true. That is true. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going with this guy, I think. Because he basically expressed the fact that he thinks the world needs to know about Drill.
I think it's the catalyst to get us to find out everything, because it's basically like, okay, you figure this out, you do this, or I'm telling everybody.
I'm like, oh dear,
He's sneaky.
So back to all the kids and all that stuff that was happening. I thought it was pretty interesting that. Wait, was it last week with Nicholas? Yeah, Nicholas was last week.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's all just mashing into one big thing. I thought it was really interesting that they didn't allow Nicholas to, for whatever was going to happen or whatever Drill was doing to like kind of let that happen. Wes was very adamant to like not let it happen, and now we've got all the kids together,
Right.
and one of them needs to be still taken out potentially,
which I think he did, or clearly he did on purpose. He wanted them all together because now he has more power that they're all together, and they can't tell. He knows. It's almost like I mean, it seems like it almost was a mistake to let the kid live in the school.
and he was still there, which I thought was cute.
Right.
Hey Nicholas, you're back. You have
welcome.
the headaches have remained with you. Yes.
Because now it's like, okay, we know you're not going to kill one kid. You're certainly not going to kill 100.
Oh, I know. And it was weird because I think when, I don't know, there was like a reaction that the president had or the Secretary of Defense had about like all 100 kids. And it was as though in their minds are like, yeah, we're taking all the kids out. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? We had one child that was... Anyway, I'm not advocating for killing children, but I'm just saying in the case of the show and saving humanity or you know whatever we think is going on here,
right?
Kind of a problem. So, by the way, Renji90998 said, and this is actually very true. All the kids early on in the episode, when they all got into the quarantine school, were pointing at Minx or saying that, oh, it's her dad that is responsible for all this. And so he said Minx was already outcasted by the kids thinking that she's a spy anyway. So that could have been one of the reasons why they were all kind of like using her as a target in some capacity, or Drill was masking it like she was a target.
Right. Because how would they even know that?
Drill.
But I mean, like, how would they really know that Wes was her dad?
She might have said something to someone. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Kids talk.
But it's also a good way. It really is a good way for them, because Wes will just think like, oh, it's not her. We can't do anything to her. They're just doing that because of me, because she was sure to say that to him.
Yeah.
And because no kid, I feel like at that point was going to be like, oh, hey, Wes is your dad, so you're our spy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said the exact thing that she needed to get Henry in that place.
You're right. That's true.
About like, oh, I don't want to. They think I'm a spy. Can anyone else do it?
Maybe it's Henry and her together.
It better not be
their
Henry.
Teamwork. I mean, if we want to go and say it's not Minx, it could be Henry, because his picture was also one of the 4 that was on the table when Silas, was gonna pick. But then his eyes are just like creepy looking.
Whose? Silas?
Henry's.
And he did touch the kid when he walked up and pushed them apart. He touched an arm.
Was Harper up in that mix too, though?
No,
she wasn't. Okay.
No.
Harper's picture wasn't on the table. There was another little boy and a little girl. And it wasn't Harper.
So here's the thing, too. It's possible that, Silas kept saying that his mother, like, he was so concerned for his mother. So it could have been a manipulation play that Drill was like, there's going to be 4 pictures on the table of you do this, you look towards Minx or whatever. I mean, who knows? Who knows the level of manipulation that may have occurred, I think.
Right.
Someone on the YouTube comments is going to be like, no, Allison. That's not how it went down. But it's one of those things where, was that like an ultimate manipulation too? Just how that whole scene was crafted to make us all think it's definitely Minx. The fire alarm went off. Everyone gets shuttled outside. But you're right. I mean, Henry did touch. He may have touched that girl. I don't know.
I mean, he definitely did like that. As far as if he touched her arm or whatever, I don't know. But
there was a burn mark there, though, for sure. That was like a little tiny hand burn mark.
Definitely.
There has to be, either they're setting us up to think that there's something, but there has to be something between the two of them. One of them is evil more so than the other. Because also when all the kids got there, Minx was like, can I please go say hi to Henry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe she's like, oh, good, you made it through.
Oh.
I don't know. Because she's like, it's like a moat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think tonight we saw our first kind of semi-evil side of Henry. He wasn't evil by any means. Evil is a strong word. But whenever his mom is interviewing him, he seemed sneaky.
Did he seem sneaky?
Like, what do you see? my mom. What do you, and then and it was the way he brought up that thing so easy because he was like, oh, it's like our introduce me or tell me about yourself thing that we did at school last year. And he just, he sat there for a second. He was like for me, last year when they said, what do you hear? I had to say nothing. And this year I say everything.
Yeah, but, so you mean
he didn't go, he wasn't like everything. But I just think his eye, the way they focus on his eyes are literally jet black, which I think that's just what his eyes look like as a kid. But he wasn't the typical. Did y'all not think so? I didn't think he was. I think typical, all of them. Hi, I'm Henry. Hi, Mom. I love you so much. Tonight, I thought he was like extra creepy. I'm Henry.
I thought he's always been very articulate, though. Like his character has always been a bit more. I don't know, just
je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, like more mature or something for his age. Mm-hmm. So Glorified Gleek just said, I didn't see Henry touch the girl. He touched the boy. Minx was the only one I saw touch the girl.
Okay. I saw him do this. Yeah. So I didn't remember who.
Yeah, I mean, that was a brawl. Like, what was going on with those kids? That
Children of the Corn. Like, I got you. I don't know. There's the only thing that I'm hoping is that it's not just a random kid. Like, as much as I told Francesca this while we were watching, because Minx for a little while there, this is why I think I literally go back and forth on it, because I think that at the beginning of the episode they were almost trying to make us feel bad for her, of course, with like at her mom's funeral and because she said Drill did this, because and I felt like they were trying to make us see a little bit of a softer side toward her, and she's sick and blah blah blah. So I'm like, don't make me start feeling bad for Minx now.
You're right.
But then I feel like it's almost like on purpose, like, oh, let's make you see this softer side. And then
we definitely did get a little, I noticed that tonight actually, because all season Minx has really been one dimension in the sense of her personality,
right? And
I thought tonight we got a little bit more of like I don't know, she was more sensitive and she was a bit more, and her energy level was depleted on some level. It's true. There was I appreciated
not
that other
as
labor.
Creepy.
She was less creepy tonight. It's true.
Yes.
Her she done well tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know. She still creeped me out the whole time.
She creeped me out majority of the time, but then I was like, oh. But maybe I was feeling that because of Wes and the funeral scene looking so sad.
I know, he did look so sad.
He did look so sad. So Soccer Elite just said something pretty interesting. That burn looked painful and the girl didn't scream. And that's true.
Did she do it on herself? Was that not Harper?
No, it was a little blonde girl, I thought.
It wasn't. No.
No, she was a blonde.
I think it was a brunette, but it wasn't Harper. But I don't think it was Harper, though. I don't think it was Harper
for sure.
Okay.
But then why are they bringing back Harper?
She's so cute.
But they're also bringing back everyone, so I don't think that
Harper was giving some saucy answers too, and that's why I was reacting. And actually, PTL 2007 just said, "I love when Claire asked Harper, 'What do you dream?' and Harper replied, 'You stop asking me questions.'"
Yeah,
and she exclaimed it, "You stop asking me questions!" And I was like, Harper.
Yeah, she was a little crazy in the.
She's the only one that refused to answer questions.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, the whole thing that they did there, I thought was one of the most interesting sort of moments happening, because the whole time I was doing the same thing. I was looking at their pupils, and I was looking to see when they blinked, and I was looking to see if anything would indicate, because basically Claire said, I'll be able to tell.
Right. Well, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, so how are these answers going to differ? I'll know.
But they made it so very
the kids' answers that were different than the rest were Minx and Henry and Harper, and because Minx was just like, and then Harper, who's like, don't ask me, and then Henry had his very all the other kids were like, my cat.
Yeah.
And that kid Silas, he felt so bad for him.
I know.
And he was hyperventilating.
Cute.
I was like, oh dear. I was like, give Silas a break.
Yeah.
Give him some water or something. All right.
Juicy juice.
Before we get into
juice box
predictions, I know now I feel like my predictions are now totally different. Anything that we missed?
Yes. Can we talk about how crazy, violent, and unnecessary the force was to get Sean and Claire to give Henry
up? Yes,
Henry up.
Let's talk about that.
The guy straight up had a gun.
I know, yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Actually, I have another problem. If they're saying, if they're trying to get the kids quarantined, right?
Yes.
They said this is a whatever outbreak, but it's not contagious.
Encephalitis.
So then why the heck do you need to quarantine them?
Well, no, I think it was a ploy, basically.
No. I know it was a ploy, but that doesn't make sense. Like, make it a virus or something that's contagious.
But I think they didn't want to say that it was contagious in order to not make people freak out and like have a total panic.
Yeah.
But then I'd be like, why do you need to take my child if it's not contagious?
To figure out, to keep them all clean together.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Zach Moore just commented, Drill is definitely trying to throw everyone off. Notice how all the kids pointed at Minx immediately. And it's a curious thing. And I agree with you. The force exhibited against Sean in that scene was a little cray-cray.
But also, why did she not give, I mean, I know she didn't want Henry to be a part of this, but like, she knows that he's been this the whole time. So like, he can't be just left out.
Yeah. All right. Any other tidbits before we try our best at predicting things?
Bye, Lena.
Oh, lordy lord. All right. Let's go for predictions.
Oh, my.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I'm not even
Prediction.
quite sure what I'm predicting anymore.
I know, it's weird. It's like we flip-flopped.
I'll let you
All
go.
the kids are evil.
Chat influenced me.
Never going to Disneyland because there's too many children there. I'm just kidding. I love Disneyland.
Really? That's no more Disneyland for
No, I
Francesca?
love Disneyland.
Okay.
Just make sure the kids aren't there when I'm there.
Go for the adult night?
Yes.
The adults only night? They should do that at some
JK,
point.
I literally think
yeah.
that all the kids are just,
They're all evil?
they're all evil.
I really
So
want to
she
know.
wants to kill all of the kids.
No, I mean, okay, so he has his little thingies in all of them in their little brain. So, and he's losing his power. So I feel like he is kind of just spread out amongst them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I feel like if he's not completely taken over Minx, he's definitely like doing a whole tag team thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I think that definitely, I don't think all the kids are, well, obviously they clearly have a part of Drill in them, but I think it's something that could be taken out. So I don't think all of them are like fully possessed by Drill, because I mean, we see in the preview for next week, the president's daughter,
Yes.
she's going, ah, and it looked like a possessed, not just a scream.
It looked like what Nicholas was doing last week a little bit.
Exactly.
Well, I feel like something has to go down with the president's daughter.
I agree with you.
Well, we have to remember the whole like thing that this was supposed to be from the beginning. It was, remember the painting of the White House, I think, and then like a spaceship or something like that.
All right.
So it's something that is going to end us in that realm. I really don't know what I'm predicting because the reason that I think that it's Minx is because I think that it can't just be a random person.
Yeah.
But would they have done it to us in this episode? And I was coming into this going, it's Minx.
Yeah.
And then now looking at chat roll, I'm like, everyone else is, I think, more correct. Yeah. And just because I think that they wouldn't have done it that obviously.
Right. I think it's a setup. It's just, the pointing is the thing that makes me think that.
Yeah.
Because even though the one kid did it, like, it's just not all of them, after all of this time of being threatened and whatever, are just gonna point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it was Drill telling them to point at her.
So a few comments.
So I don't think Minx is the Drill.
Turn off your sound if you don't want to hear some of these things, but in the chat roll right now, so Sylvia Love said,
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
thank you, Marissa. Got my back. Sylvia Love, Drill is in Henry, but then early on, Renji90998 said that, I thought I saw that he said that Drill is in the president's daughter. And that's who really is possessed.
Drill.
Yeah.
She's not a total random character, so it definitely could be her.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's either Minx or Henry, maybe Harper, and then there has to be something with the president's daughter.
I think so too. I think I mean, that's definitely an interesting I mean, it's interesting that how they set up the previews for next week. It's definitely a focus on the president's daughter. So,
and they can't do that to Wes. They can't kill Lena and then kill Minx too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't anticipate that they're gonna kill Minx. I really think that they're playing with us this week majorly. Just it would not make sense for it to be as obvious as they're insinuating.
Yeah.
I don't think
any kid's gonna die. I think they're gonna figure a way to get Drill out without hurting anybody. But that might in turn leave us with a cliffhanger at the end of this season.
True, and we don't know what's happening yet with season 2. We have
there have
no
been like
idea.
rumblings. I know they were waiting on some like
in your tummy.
Yes, I know they were waiting on some rating stuff, but as last I've read, no confirmation of a season
I know, that's
2.
what I read. So Zach Moore said Henry was super creepy this episode. Glorified Gleek just said whoever it is, I hope they don't chicken out this time. And then Glorified Gleek also said she still thinks it's Minx. So
all right,
I don't know.
We're
I
all
think
over the place.
Next week should be a goodie.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. That's my prediction. Next week is gonna be a good one. I've been your host, Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean, and hopefully, I do love when you guys comment and tweet me and all that stuff. And there was definitely a lot of action. I always learn things. Everyone always educates me.
I love reading the YouTube comments, so keep commenting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, and you can find me Twitter, Instagram, XOXOCESCA, and I just want to make it clear that I love children.
I know, we all love children.
We all love
children, yes.
But not when they're creepy.
Anyways. Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
Woo! All right, well, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you for episode 12 next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.